И всем большой привет, с вами Анти. Сегодня мы продолжаем проходить игру под названием The Dark Eye Memoria, и это, скажем так, наша, скорее всего, финальная серия, в которой мы будем делать кучу всего, и, наконец-таки, закончим наше приключение.
They're too far away, but they do give me a good idea of where I am. I now know that they can see me and hear me, but it won't do them any good.
Ну да.
All I can hear is the crackle of the fire. All I can hear is the crack. Brighter! Brighter!
Не, говорить ты вряд ли можешь.
I wouldn't be surprised if he just screams at me as well.
Ничего
I'm
нельзя
not
сделать.
thirsty right now. I'm not thirsty. I'm cold. I wish someone would push me closer to the fire.
Можно тебя прям в
I
огонь
can't
поставить.
reach. How could I? Brighter.
А у меня есть что-то? А, я могу починить и сломать что-то.
Nonsense.
То есть я могу колдовать.
Not after what happened to Ulrich. Not after what happened. That exceeds my power.
Garon, can you hear me? I think I've solved the riddle. It's a little complicated. There are so many little pieces. There's only one thing missing. And then we can finally complete the story. Then I'll ask the staff to change you back. I promise. Can you do me one more favor first? Sadya's ruby has a crack. You need to repair it. Can you do that for me? Please, Garon, repair the ruby.
Not after.
The story is almost over. We just need the ruby. Thank you. And now let me try something. I pray to the gods that I'm not mistaken. Vedan fascadan, esplaste quatan, humurilor gras, ferogoran, hilbemutir gerol falan, yuntir quatan feluntir sodan.
Ой, что-то вспомнила, что это такое.
Garon? Are you still there? If so, then you should be able to cast the staff's first spell. Please give me a sign that it worked.
Ух ты, я активировал накопитель силы. И...
I was right. Thank you. Thank you, Garon. Oh, you're probably wondering where you are. The staff created this place, a burial chamber of a mogul in the middle of the Andergastrian forest. Isn't that impressive?
Leave the mask and come to me.
He's here. I'll be right back.
Brighter. Brighter. And I get left behind again. Nuri.
Так, ну ведь тебя не помнит.
Good thing I can still see a little through the cracks. It's impossible to read. As the stone over the scarab, so I still don't understand.
Я тоже ничего не
I'm
понимаю.
cold. I wish someone would.
Мы могу послать видение.
Sadya spell. Sadya spell.
Что могу активировать, деактивировать?
Sadya spell. Sadya spell doesn't work. Sadya spell does. Sadya.
Раз что я могу?
Hollering is. If only I could draw it. They're too far away, but they do give me a good idea of where I am.
Угу.
It only works. Sadya spell. No, I'll leave it like that. I'm cold.
Просто пускай будет как есть. А кому-то видение посылать
Sadya
будешь?
spell doesn't work. Sadya spell doesn't. Sadya. Fi. I wouldn't. Fi. Help me! Holler, if only. It's impossible.
Маска.
Sadya spelled. Something tells me that it won't help Bryder. It's quite the contrary.
А что вы мне предлагаете сделать?
I'll try to send Nuri a vision.
А. Ну и видение.
She could find the mountain, but how would she know which campfire I'm at?
Где твой костер? Гора, костер, гробница. Может так?
She could find the mountain.
А, река. Река. Костер. Река. Правильно?
That's it. I'll send
Точно,
Nuri to
да.
the mountain and then along the course of the brook until she reaches the fire. I hope it works.
Я тоже на это надеюсь, что все получится. Хих.
Thank the gods. I'm starting to remember something.
И... Что это
I
такое?
know how I can transform myself back. All right,
Давай.
here we go. No, the mask doesn't have enough. It was all.
Ну, в целом, может помочь накопитель этот? Тык. 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 Ты ж поймешь, что делать, я надеюсь. Какая умная ворона. Сейчас накопитель упадет на тебя и разобьется. Ой, ты нас двоих сразу. Блин, и он реально разбился.
Oh, finally. Fi, is everything all right?
Oh, yes. My stiff old bones haven't felt this young in ages.
Кажется, это сарказм.
Thanks, Nuri.
Who are you?
That doesn't matter now. Will you promise to wait for me here?
All right.
I'll be right back.
Угу. Товарищ Фахи, вы мне
Let
что
me rest a
скажете?
moment.
Я так понял, ничего. Давай у огня чуть постоим.
Fine. Won't work.
What's that?
It doesn't matter. Stay.
All right.
I'm not thirsty.
Я так думаю, этих не надо расколдовывать, так они какие-то злые все. Пойдем в гробницу. Нам тут делать больше нечего. Максимум в гробнице что-то будет.
It's been 450 years since I, a talking staff with no memories, kindled the light in my prison and saw a strange woman who would change my life forever. Her story began in this chamber, and between these walls we will end it together. Marhaba, Geron. Welcome.
You were able to free yourself.
What does all this mean? Where are we?
Ask him.
Indeed. Ask me. You should know that I've waited a long time for this day, and would not like to wait much longer. But if you have a great many questions...
What's going to happen here?
So you still haven't figured out why I sent you my memories? Why you're here?
Давай ты мне все
I am
расскажешь уж.
here because
Ладно.
Fahi promised to change Nuri back into a fairy if I helped him with a little riddle. No one said anything about ensouled magic staves, flying fortresses, and strange dreams.
Life is full of surprises, isn't it?
Ha!
You laugh, but I wouldn't have believed that one day someone would rescue me from my dungeon, that I was to climb mountains without legs and wrestle without arms with demons. I would have laughed if someone had told me a princess will appear to you and, despite your strange form, show you the greatest wonders of the world. Oh, how I would have laughed!
Okay, but that doesn't explain why we're here.
You know that Sadya and I were separated. Our golden time together came to an end when I finally found a way to leave the Gorian desert. Centuries had passed. I wanted to know if Sadja had done it, if she had become the great heroine she always wanted to be. I wanted to hear how her name was whispered in the streets in awe. Sadja al-Kabir, Sadja the Great, the heroine who once... But no one had ever heard of her. So I continued and expanded my search. I wanted to know what happened to her after our separation. I followed her trail back to Draconia. I found the Adept's journal and the Djinn of Times' mask. But Sadja's real fate remained a mystery to me. Finally, I met Fahi and asked him to bring me here. A man named Alric had taken her ruby from Draconia and brought it to Andergast. He sought the mask in order to bring back his deceased wife, but he found only the gemstone.
Is all this really important?
Ну, давайте мы для начала сохранимся, чтобы понять, это really important or not really important. Ну, давай продолжай.
Why did you need the ruby? Why the mask?
I wanted to bring together all the relics surrounding Sadja's disappearance and finally understand what happened to her. At least I would know. There was only one problem. I'm terrible at riddles. That's why I needed experts to help me, who could understand every detail,
Prepared?
to be able to tell Sadja's tale to the end without...
Does it matter how she died? She's dead.
You're wrong. You will determine.
I don't understand.
The Garden of Oblivion. I read the journal to the end. After her return, nothing that happens in the garden has actually happened until someone talks about it.
And since Sadja has been forgotten since that day, her fate has never been told.
Ясно.
I see.
If we tell the end of Sadja's adventures in the garden,
And if we're mistaken,
Satanav's invisible hand will punish us for our sacrilege.
I think I've explained enough about our...
Are you ready, Garon?
Just a moment.
Memoria.
At the waterfall, you promised to...
And I will, but first, we must...
What about the
You mean the stone? Fahi believes that the inscription is the key to everything. The riddle is apparently only a strange jotting on the margins, a random blemish. Sadja was taken to the burial chamber to read trivial inscription.
Угу. А роль
What's
Фахи?
Fahi's role in all this?
Fahi is a man of many talents. He has a feeling for tales. In addition, he had a wagon and a tent in which I could... He is helping me solve the riddle, and in return, I protect his business from...
So he's actually...
Fahi is the most harmless man. I was sorry to petrify him, but it was the only way to save him from...
Грустно. А Брида?
Why are you here, Brider? Sadia's story doesn't have anything...
Garon, there's nothing left for me here. I'm a deserter. My own comrades are hunting me. Please,
Оу.
even if you still don't understand,
I'm sure everything will be fine.
the world will never be as fine as...
What if one of us ends...
If Satinav learns that the tale we tell can't possibly be true, then he'll make it unhappy.
Don't worry, Garon. We won't make a mistake.
All right.
Then put the mask on the bust of my old master and...
А, бюст древнего господина, типа вот этого, что ли?
Put the mask on the bust. Thank you, Garon. Are you ready now?
Yes.
Let's get this over with.
Thank you, Garon.
Which of you will now step forward and tell...
Давай я это сделаю.
I'll do it.
Very well. I'll now tell you of Sadja's passage into the garden. Listen closely. At the end, after her return from the battlefield, Sadja was only a shadow of herself. She had seen the horrors of the Nether Hells, an ocean of destruction and death. She was the only survivor, but the rest of the world did not care. Sadja's great dream had failed. She wandered the halls of Draconia like a ghost. She didn't eat, and she only slept when exhaustion forced her to. On the fourth day, a young adept saw her at the threshold to the portal. He asked her where she was going. It was cold in the mountains, and she could have become lost, whereupon she answered,
I'm going to the garden to break my being.
The boy immediately ran to the air adept, but help arrived too late. When they entered the garden, all that they found was the mask and Sadja's ruby next to it. There was no sign of her, out of fear of challenging Sat enough, it was decided that they would forget the incident. No one was allowed to speculate about what had happened on that day. The mask and the ruby were taken to Draconia. The garden was sealed, and Sadya's fate was forgotten. Until today. It's now up to you, Garon, to finish her story. But remember, one mistake, and the consequences will be terrible.
I know. Sadya entered the garden.
Она, наверное, должна была... Так, а можно сохраниться? Сейчас. Надо сохраниться, сохранить. Потому что я не знаю правильно этого. Она чаще всего оглядывается
She
сначала.
thought briefly and looked around.
Угу. Она села,
She sat on the ground. Then she
помедлила.
hesitated for a moment and wondered if she was really doing the right thing.
Так, она посмотрела на маску или сначала достала ее? Не, вряд ли она смотрела на маску, она ж и так ее знает. Просто достала? Я думаю, просто достала.
She took out the mask.
В смысле? Все
She
понял, что
looked
значит
into the
смотреть
mask
маску.
and
И что она могла сделать? Произнесла имя джина времени, превратила все растения в камень. Ну, учитывая, что сад остался нетронутым, то растения в камень точно не превращались. Имя джина времени, не знаю, зачем ей произносить. Скорее всего, он прочитала заклинание.
and
She read the magic spell, memorized it, put on the mask, and destroyed her memory.
Чего?
why did you interrupt me?
I was afraid you would say the wrong thing. Then she disappeared into the depths of the garden like a soulless waif and was never seen again.
It is done. I had always hoped it would be otherwise. But I was mistaken.
Are you crying?
Of course I'm crying. My princess just died.
Oh, well, I guess that's it then. That was the end just now, wasn't it?
Yes.
No. Since Sadya used the mask, her memories are now in the mask, and thus the true name of the Djinn of Time.
What are you doing?
Fadan feskadan esplastequatan, humurilor gras ferel goran, hil bemotir kerul felan, juntir gatan filontir sodan. Nijeti meta for imano iruti veda.
I've been awakened.
The Djinn of Time.
Tell me, child, what is your wish?
I'm sorry, Garon, but there's nothing left for me in this time. As if there had ever been anything for me here. There are no heroic princesses, no ancient tombs, no flying fortresses. Only endless honor guards, latrine duty, one triviality after another. When was the golden age lost? When princesses still dreamed of battles and the world was filled with magic. I wish it was all as it used to be.
Your wish is my command.
Что делаешь? Че, умереть хочешь?
Brider.
The girl is now gone. Her longing now rules over her existence. It is my task to fulfill that longing. To
Чего?
extinguish the grey present and bring the past to life again.
Что, блин, происходит? Ты что наделала? Я верил тебе.
Oh no. The forest is starting to change. What did she do?
Garon, come quickly.
Куда?
Geron, I've been thinking.
That's nice, but it won't help us any. Bryda told Sadia's story to the end. She had Sadia put on the mask and draw out all her memories in the Garden of Oblivion, so that everything has now happened exactly like that. And she read out Sadia's memories with the ruby. I mean, Bryda did that. And now she's possessed by the Djinn of Time. And
Calm yourself, Geron.
I'm supposed to calm down? We have to do something.
You're right. And we can only do something if we prove that Bryda was wrong. That Sadia did not put on the mask. You forget that there's still a part of the riddle we have not solved.
The scarab? As if a pointless riddle could...
Do you have a better idea? Look around. We're in a copy of the burial chamber. Bring it to me. And perhaps we can solve the riddle once and for all.
То есть ты предлагаешь мне идти в гробницу? Ну, ладно, пойдем в гробницу. Точную копию гробницы. О, рубин, кстати, надо забрать. Пошли в могилу, будем лезть.
Not yet. Not yet. The Djinn of Time would immediately...
Времени тут же разорвет тебя на кусочки. О, какое счастье. Гигантское счастье. О, господи. Ну, я так понимаю, что мы это можем отдать Фахи, и он, в принципе, сможет разгадать.
All I found was the ruby.
Give it to me. Giacomo Nauta told me you were an amateur mage. Is that true?
Yeah, I can break things.
Well, I can also do a bit of magic. If I hold something in my hand, I can catch a glimpse of its past. That was the main reason the staff chose me as his companion, you see. Now, let's see what story this stone tells. Curious.
А, я думал, ты заснул.
When the ruby was found after Sadia's disappearance in the garden, it had a crack. And the reversal spell the Ore Adept had woven into it had vanished utterly. The mages had to reapply it completely. But there's more. I see a palace garden, and in it, 2 children.
This is a brooch from Mengbilla. My father gave it to me.
Oh, can I see?
There. And here, a ruby from the dwarf tunnels in the brazen sword.
It's so beautiful.
When I'm Caliph, I'll have all the treasures in Avestan gathered in my palace. Fazar will be more radiant than in the times of the great Moguls. My subjects will lie at my feet for all eternity.
All the history books will tell of you.
It's the calligraphy of
Да
my
господи,
sovereignty,
что это?
the sign of my dynasty. The whole world will bow before this symbol. There are great times ahead of us, Sadia. Truly great times.
I see a prince and a princess playing together. He's trying to impress her. What could this mean?
Принц и принцесса — это брат и сестра,
So
какие
Sadia and the
друзья.
prince really were siblings.
Wait, there's more. Something's happening. A palace guard arrives.
Let me go!
You're so pathetic.
Чего?
Isn't that how you like to be treated? Like the dog that you are.
At least I have my own teeth.
You please me, Sadia, more than I had hoped.
Что?
The prince is tormenting the princess. The guard
Ну,
holds her
это
tight.
опрашивает, ну ладно.
She's at his mercy. But why?
Они сплетничают просто так, но, скорее всего, она
Maybe she
совершила
committed a crime.
преступление.
They finally let her go. She remains alone in the courtyard.
Really? What are you doing? Are you tattooing yourself?
I'm writing my own dynasty.
Do you even know what the word means? Dynasty? You can't simply write greatness into your blood. You're either born with it or not.
I'll prove it to you.
Do you think you could ever be greater than I? You're amusing. Guards! Throw her back into the gutter where you found her. I'm done having my fun with her. Then fetch me a new girl.
Это что такое? То есть они все-таки были друзьями.
Wasn't a princess at all. She was only a poor girl from the streets.
So what?
I don't know, but...
What's so funny?
Don't you understand? The solution to the riddle. Sadia's words outside the burial chamber. It was so obvious all along.
Понятно.
Oh. We were fooling ourselves. Now, go into the burial chamber and tell it to the djinn. Then everything will be all right again.
Мне интересно, какие там будут варианты. А можно еще там мне слотик сохранения? Спасибо. Продолжение. Идем сюда. Я вроде выбрал все правильно, ну ладно. Наверное, мне понятно.
Ryder, or whoever you are, come out.
Hello.
Why do you obstruct her wish? She's unhappy. She wishes to be back in a time where everything was still good. You, of all people, should understand that. But it no longer. The ritual is almost complete. A new ancient kingdom will grow from the oak wood.
Not if I can prove that Bryder was wrong. And she was indeed wrong.
Sadia went into the garden, she took the mask, and she spoke the incantation. So did it happen, and so shall it remain.
It will. Listen, let me start at the beginning. Sadia entered the garden, she sat down and pulled out the mask. She looked into the mask.
Произнесла твое имя? Нет. И отчаялась.
And despaired in herself and her inability.
Why should she despair? She had my promise of blessed oblivion. All she had to do was read the incantation.
No.
Она не умела читать.
I'm sorry, Bryder, but Sadia wasn't as brilliant as you think. She felt persecuted and restless. She wanted to forget her own past and become someone else. She wasn't a princess, just a poor girl from the streets. And as such, she couldn't even read.
No.
Forgive me, Bryder.
That's that then. The riddle is finally solved. Why such a long face, Kieran?
Yes, my friend? What plagues you so?
Nothing. Why are you so happy anyway? Sadia's fate proved to be false. You don't know any more now than you did before.
Very true. Very true. But perhaps not.
Oh, forget it. I'm sick of riddles.
Yes. Leave the dear boy in peace, Aleph. Fulfill his wish, and let's move on.
Yes, traveling is nice. I want to go to the sea.
Wait just a moment.
It's up to you, my friend. Do you want me to change her back? But I can only restore her body, not her memories.
А что делать? Ладно, еще одно сохранение нам не помешает. Продолжение. Ну, давай мы все-таки Превратим ее
I
обратно.
fought so hard for it. I want everything to be the way it was.
So be it.
Ух ты, какая она
It is done.
красивая.
Nuri? Nuri, can you hear me?
Hmm? What's going on? Who are you?
My name is Geron. How do you feel?
Strange. I'm cold. What happened?
Come to the fire and rest. Then I'll tell you everything. Who you are, where you come from, and what wonderful adventures the two of us have had.
Adventures?
It all began last autumn. Crows had attacked the royal palace, and King Everden asked me to come up with a way to stop the plague. My search led me to a strange cave near a waterfall.
And thus ends the tale. Did you know that it would come to this? Oh, how can I know what you planned, and what was mere fortune? Until today, I would have sworn that the mask destroyed you. But that can't be. We know that now. Now, just so I don't make a mistake, there are only two possibilities as to what could have happened to you back then. The first, the more likely, has now proven to be false, which leaves only the second. I mustn't make a mistake. Here we go. When Sadia entered the garden, she had the mask with her, but no ruby. Yet, when the mask was found, there was a ruby beside it. Now, it may be that it was Sadia's ruby that was thrown into the garden earlier by the prince. But what if it was another? Oh dear. Oh dear. There's no going back now. Satinav! I say that there was not one, but two rubies. The real one was lost. The fake was taken from the garden by the mages and is now here in my hand. Sadia couldn't read, but with my mask she could do magic. She could turn plants to stone. She could turn people to stone. What is a ruby, if not just another stone? There. And now to you, my dear. You descended into the deepest tombs, and you climbed the highest mountains. You danced with wind spirits and wrestled with demons. Abandoned by the gods, forgotten by time. Shahrazad, your time has finally come.
Гей! Финал!